Great. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our virtual open day for Titanic Works. We normally do this in person, but sadly, because of coronavirus this year, we can't go down into the cellars. So I'm Natasha, and I work at Wessex Archaeology, and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator.
My name's Jack. I was one of the surveyors that recorded the cellars in 3D. To do that, we sort of had two options that we could choose to do the recording. We could either use a technique called photogrammetry, which involves taking a series of overlapping photographs and stitching those together in software when we get back to the office. Or we could do laser scanning with the model that we chose was a Faro Focus laser scanner. And we opted for the laser scanning because of its simplicity more than anything. You have a machine set up on a tripod, and that machine will do a 360-degree rotation. And if you've ever used like a laser disto before, it's a very similar principle. There's a rotating mirror in the center of the scanner, and a laser is fired into that mirror. It reflects onto the surfaces, and then that is recorded back through the mirror, and a distance measurement is taken and stored in the scanner. And it's sort of recording about 1,000 or so distance measurements per rotation, so as it's going through like that. So you end up with about anywhere between 20 to 28 million, depending on the settings that you put into the scanner, points per scan. So it really is quite a quick and simple way of recording 3D space. The downside to it is you have to sort of position your scans quite carefully. So I think we ended up doing more than 30 scans per cellar. And the reason for that being is it won't be able to capture all of a single surface based on one position. So to give you an idea of what I mean by that, this is a free piece of software called Cloud Compare that you can use to sort of view 3D information. And if I drop in just one scan, you can see, I think this is cellar 1, maybe. You can sort of see that just from one scan, it's only captured a certain level of information. And what Seth was on about earlier is that sort of circle there, that's indicating the scanner position. So obviously it can't capture stuff directly below it. So to do that, you're relying on positioning your scans as you move along to capture the sort of information that it can't see based on its previous position, if that sort of makes sense. So as we go along and we add a second scan in, you can sort of see how it started to build on the previous information that it's had. And as well, you can sort of slowly start to see that little circle sort of start to get smaller and smaller. So as we add more scans in, it's able to capture the information that it was missing. And based on those sort of distance measurements, it can sort of stitch surfaces together. So say you've got this wall here in one scan, when you move the next scan, it will record that same wall and it'll be able to actually sort of go, these are one and the same, and position the scan sort of accordingly. If we carry on sort of adding scans in, you can sort of see that as we go along, we start to get more of a complete picture of the cellars. And we use this sort of technique on a variety of different projects because it's highly accurate. So you can get millimeter grade accuracy with these scanners. And for us, they're particularly useful in doing things like historic building recording to generate floor plans. So if I show you an example, we can sort of select that entire scan information and then we can start to cut segments through it. If I can just move that to create a slice. Turn these layers off so that we've just got our slice. And you can sort of start to see now that if we were to try and draw a floor plan, we have the walls in exactly the sort of position that they need to be, the individual ash pits that we could draw in. And obviously, as we go on to add more of those scans in, we'll start to get a sort of complete 3D image of the cellar. And that's sort of basically what we did for each cellar. We went through sort of methodically adding in scan positions as we went, so that the sort of 3D fly through that Natasha's shown is sort of the end product and what we end up with. And that's all there was to it, really.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. We hope you've enjoyed the Titanic Works webinar.